65 horsepower trap. That might pop wide open, Rats.
Welcome in, everybody, to the TPT podcast. Today I have a big time guest with me. University of Central Florida tight end, my buddy here. My former point guard back in the day, Alec, holler. Alec, how you doing? Welcome to TPT podcast. How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's truly an honor to get on the podcast with my day one. I've been seeing you doing great things with the TPT podcast, man. So I'm glad you had me on.
It's a good one. We go way back when you were dishing me the rock in the corner, me trying to pull up and hit a three. One thing you guys may not know about Alec, this man is a national champion for AAU basketball.
Yep.
Back in the day, ninth grade basketball. Man was my point guard balling with life hoops. It's good to have you. Obviously, you know, you're doing great things at the University of Central Florida. Talk a little bit about that. I've seen your journey all the way from, high school at Trinity in Orlando to now being such a great tight end, a big part of the offense here at UCF.
Yeah, so I mean, just starting it out, I really wasn't looking to play college football. I was trying to go college basketball. Jaden was a part of that journey, just training up, trying to become the best player I can be. And a lot of that really, all that training and stuff like that went well translating to the football field with catching the ball and footwork and all that stuff. So in the middle of my junior year fall, Max decided, hey, we don't have a fall basketball season, so I'm going to go out for football. And I heard him say that, and I was like, I mean, why don't I go out for football too? So I went out there halfway through the season, was a starter week one, was out there not really knowing the plays, kind of just having dudes tell me what to do and just athleting it up at that level. And I worked my way.
Tony Gonzalez.
What'd you say?
Kind of like a Tony Gonzalez moving from basketball over to football.
Oh, yeah. I feel like tight end, a lot of those big dudes that are so athletic, you can see them translate from basketball with the hands and footwork and all that stuff. But continuing, going on, and I had the opportunity to go walk on with UCF. I had an offer from Liberty University, which I really was going to go after. I was going to commit there, but I called to commit, and their tight end had torn his labrums in his shoulder, so they needed to bring in a JUCO guy. So I was pretty frustrated in that moment, thinking, God, I mean, why? This is where I wanted to go. Christian University, great atmosphere for me. This would be great for me. But, God has other plans, God's perfect sovereign plan. So then I'm to taking a preferred walk-on opportunity at UCF, stepping in there, thinking I'm this really great player because I got All-State in high school playing at Trinity Prep, as a little small school, being the biggest dude. Walking to UCF, realizing, hey, man, I'm like a minnow in the ocean. I mean, these dudes are athletes, and that was when they had just come off of winning that Peach Bowl, beating Auburn and claiming the national championship and all that stuff. And just the journey from going from ninth string walk-on that no one knows to now being a first string leader, contributor on the field has just been a pretty incredible journey.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew you as a guy that could have been playing basketball. You're always such a great basketball player, such a great leader out there on the court. And all of a sudden I look up and this man is going over the top, bossing people. And I'm like, Alec, this man's balling. You get to UCF, you're a walk-on, and then, some coaches come in. And, now you have your coach that you have now. You're able to, get a scholarship. Now you're doing big things in this offense. We all saw that catch versus South Florida where you went up, and that was, a crazy catch to win the game. Now big things are happening, senior year. You guys are moving into, the Big 12. You know me, I'm a big Oklahoma fan. You guys could end up seeing them. So that could be big. So now you guys are in the Big 12. Talk a little bit about you guys moving in, because you just touched on it. That big season you guys had in the Peach Bowl. Now you're moving into a new conference, new things. What's the culture like going into the Big 12? How are you guys going to fare against some of those teams?
Mm-hmm. Well, just with these past 2 weeks, I think you really feel the sense of urgency from the guys on the team. Just based on like us going into workouts for the past 2 weeks, a lot of dudes showing up to discretionary where it's not mandatory. You don't have to show up, but guess what? They're there. They're working hard. there are some guys last year that weren't really leaders on the team that I don't know necessarily took it super serious. And now they're in here like grinding, pushing other guys in the runs, which is incredible. I feel like the culture that Coach Malzahn is establishing, Coach Dawson, our strength coach, is phenomenal. And I think we're going to really build up, be bigger, stronger by the Big 12. And I think that just being on the bigger stage, but when the lights are on, it really shows what people are all about. And I think that we're going to show that we're a great team, that we can compete with those big guys.
So another question I had for you, moving to the Big 12, just as well as I do, Big 12, big, usually passing offense. You got guys like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Those are just some of the OU guys that has come from there. And there's also been great tight ends that has come from the Big 12. What are some of the things that you may have been doing this offseason to try to up your game? Because, going from your junior year to this past season, each year is a different level. What are some of the things that you have, been working on, or some of the things that you think that you're going to have to step up going into the Big 12 with your game?
Yeah. So last year I was a part of kind of like the leadership council, which is like, we voted for captains, like the top 10 guys. I was on that leadership council. And this year I'm really kind of taking leadership, being a 6th-year guy, being one of the oldest guys on the team. Sam, who was our previous like kind of unanimous captains, out. So it's really important that we step up as leaders, trying to lead these young guys that are so talented. And they just, once they get into the system, they get ready, they're going to be instant contributors. But just for my own performance, I'm looking to put on some weight. That's something that's a reason, the main reason why I came back is because I had talked to NFL scouts. They were like, yeah, you're going to get an opportunity to play like in training camp. You're going to get a camp invite. If you make it past then, we'll see. But you really need to gain weight. If you gain weight and you play at a higher weight and you're able to still move around and play well, then you're going to have a lot better chance. Maybe a chance you get drafted on day 3 if you have a good pro day and you have a good season. So I'm coming back, trying to put on weight, trying to be 235, 240 playing, as well as just working on my footwork, trying to get a little bit faster. And my upper body strength is something I'm looking to really work on this offseason.
Yeah, the NFL, you see guys like, Kelsey as a Chiefs fan, those guys, you're, similar height as Kelsey, but, they're big body guys.
Oh, yeah.
But, those type of guys can do everything. The tight end position right now in the draft, even if you look at this draft, there's not a lot of names. So, your name could definitely be a big name that a lot of teams could go after at the tight end position next year. Is there any, maybe team that you could kind of see your style of play that, you'd love to be on? Or is it just kind of like whatever team's getting I know whatever team's getting you, they're getting a dog, they're getting a guy that works hard, always been a leader. Going back to, when I played with you at AU, if I wasn't, getting to where I needed to be on the court, I know you were going to be like, yo, Jade, what the heck, man? Like, if it was my dad, it was going to be you telling me where to be. So is there kind of team that you think that's your style? Maybe a coach or like that's my style right there.
Yeah, I mean, any team that would take the chance on me and give me an opportunity. I mean, I'm going to show that I'm a extremely hard worker. Like everyone at UCF knows, everyone that I've played with previously knows. I'm a great teammate. Like I'm a great locker room guy, as well as a great contributor on the field. But a team that I feel like translates, someone that like I like to look at as a comparison, and I've been looking at this offseason watching film of, is Kyle Juszczyk. He plays for the 49ers. That fullback, all tight end, move around, play in the slot, play in the backfield, play running back. Just can do a bunch of different things, like a switchblade, like that, like Swiss Army knife type situation. I think that's kind of what I could bring to a team, is just the versatility of being able to do all those different things. My size getting bigger will help me be more in line. But I think that like the offense, like the 49ers, I think the Dolphins use fullback as well. Just like kind of the 3-back fullback position is kind of where I see myself translating, just because the tight end, you see more like 6'6" guys, and I'm like 6'3", like 6'3.5". So I think that fullback position, it's kind of coming back with Juszczyk and all those dudes. I guess Baltimore uses the fullback as well. So
Baltimore
just
City,
like
there's a couple teams that still use them. And of course, you're a great blocker. We go to the UCF all the games all the time, and I see you light up guys that are big guys. So, if you put on that weight, man, the 49ers, I think, would be a good team. Brett Veach, if you're listening, Chiefs, go get this guy. Kelsey's getting older.
Oh, I mean, I'd love to play for the Chiefs, bro. Their fans are phenomenal, bro. Arrowhead seems like an amazing place to play, and just their culture that they've been building just seems really cool.
Yeah, Kansas City, they've never been short on tight ends. You go from a guy like Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce, even Tony Moyaki was good for them for a minute. So, hey, Brett Veach, if you're listening, we got a guy like Blake Bell.
Bell, I knew his brother, bro. His brother Brett played at UCF.
Yeah, so there you go.
Bro, put me up.
So we would love to see Alec in a Chiefs uniform running out there. Is there any type of tight end where you'd say you've watched? That's the type of guy where you're like, that's the game I've kind of modeled my game after. You brought up Juszczyk. Is there any kind of other tight ends where you kind of watch the film, or if you're getting ready for a game, that's the kind of guy you have in your mind that you could be that type of guy in the NFL one day?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Juszczyk is a great example that I brought up. He went to Harvard, and another Harvard guy that I feel like I could compare to a little bit is Cameron Brate. He's been playing for the Bucs for a while. He's kind of that. He was kind of like that kind of backup two position, but he comes and contributes whenever he's asked. Special teams guy as well. And it's funny that when I went on my visit to Harvard, because Harvard has offered me as well, they were talking to me like, hey, like we really see you being like Cameron Brate for us. Like we see that that's like the role you'd have, Cameron Brate or Kyle Juszczyk. And I didn't really know who those guys were at the time. But then it's funny how a year or two later, I turn on the NFL games and I'm watching when Juszczyk was on the Ravens, and I'm like, wow, that dude's a stud. And then I'm watching the Bucs, and that year was when Cameron Brate and Jameis Winston were just going crazy. So those are kind of the two that in the offseason, I think it's really smart for young players, especially to kind of find an NFL guy that has a similar body and just kind of see how he moves and try to mimic his movements, because those dudes are freaks of nature. They're the top of the game. So if you can kind of model your game off them, then you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, two great names. We may say Juszczyk in the slot. We see him sometimes out wide for the Niners. We could see that this weekend versus the Eagles. So that's another guy. Cameron Brate, great player for the Bucs, especially when he was in there healthy for the Bucs. Tom Brady used him a lot. A great player. Another thing, since we're talking a little bit NFL, we would love to get your prediction of the Eagles Niners, and then of course we got to get your prediction of the Chiefs Bengals. I'm a diehard Chiefs fan, so we want some of your analysis on the game. So who do you have in this 49ers Eagles game, and what is some of your thoughts on these two teams?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of riding the 49ers train, just being a huge fan of Juszczyk.
Yeah.
I think is one of the best blocking tight ends. I love watching tight ends, and the 49ers use them all the time. And Brock Purdy, I think just the story with everything he's doing. I'm thinking I'm hoping the 49ers win so that we can have a 49ers Chiefs Super Bowl. I think that would be pretty phenomenal. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy going 8-0 on his first 8 starts, which would be crazy. And then in the other game, Chiefs, Bengals, I think that one's going to be a tough one. I think that's going to be really high scoring. I love Joe Burrow. I got to watch him just in person at the Fiesta Bowl back when no one really knew who he was. And then one of his D linemen just smoked Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's on the ground, and he got up, bro, and there was just an aura around him. The dude just, I don't know if they hit him. He got a little, like, his brain popped around a little bit, and all of a sudden the switch flipped, and I think he went for like 300 in the second half after that. So I love Joe Burrows. I love watching him play. I think he's really cool. But I mean, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I'm on the Chiefs podcast, man. How can I not go for the Chiefs?
He's on the Chiefs podcast. He's got to go Chiefs. Eric was on here yesterday. He gave us he said as long as Patrick Mahomes gets some.
Oh yeah, as long as Patrick Mahomes is healthy. Yep. If Patrick Mahomes is
healthy and gets some ketchup in his system, he'll be all right. We know Patrick Mahomes loves his ketchup. Before we hit one of our last segments, we know you're around some characters. You're around some great players. Do you have any crazy stories from your time with UCF Maybe a fun one, maybe one you haven't really told anybody or no one really knows about, because you've had some pretty fun guys go through UCF. Anything that anyone would know, or a fun story that you can think of?
Oh my Lord. Okay. So two kind of stick out to me. One being a funny one is when I made that one-handed catch against USF.
Right.
Around, catch it, sticks into my hands, get the foot down. I turn around, I'm on the ground, and I'm like, did I really just make that catch? I kind of look up and I see a camera right in my face, and I turn my head to the left, and me and the ref make eye contact. We both are just looking at each other like, and I slowly start putting my hands up. And then he's like, all right. He puts his hands up, touchdown. Then I'm just sitting there like, what did I like? That is the craziest thing ever. So that's like a little funny story of just like me and the refs eye contact. Like, dude, it was priceless. Like the dude was just so shocked that I made that catch. And then I guess a funny like locker room story would be Jake Haskak, who recently he was like one of my best friends. He recently passed away in December. He was like jogging in Boston. He had what's it called? Like he had a heart attack, cardiac arrest, and then yeah. He passed away, but he was an absolute clown, just funniest dude ever. Made everyone like feel like the most important person in the world. And he, in our practice locker room, punched a hole in the wall. Like, I don't know what he was doing. He was just messing around, just excited. He just goes, boom, just punches a hole in the wall. And there was a hole in the wall in our locker room for probably a year. Then they fix it up. Jake's gone. So they're like, okay, no one else is going to punch a hole in the wall. Jake passes away. So then in remembrance of Jake, I don't know who, I can't say any names. I don't know who. Someone goes
maybe a one Max Holler.
I cannot confirm nor deny who this person is, but they punched a hole through the wall in the exact spot that Jake had left his hole, just in remembrance of Jake. And then how that translates is in 2019 when we played Pitt. At this point we had a huge regular season winning thing. I had torn my ACL. This was a road trip to Pitt, playing in Heinz Stadium, and Pitt had beat us on the Philly Special. They called it the Pitt Special. They made T-shirts called the Pitt Special because they beat UCF. It was like their Super Bowl. They had beat us, and they were like, "Wow, we won the Super Bowl, guys! We beat UCF." Well, they're walking out of the game, and Jake's he's a fiery dude. He's emotional. He loves the game. He's walking off, and there's a trophy case. And Jake turns and punches a hole through the glass. The glass shatters. Jake just keeps walking. On Monday, we get back in the facility, and the tight end coach has an email from Pitt that's basically like, hey, like, we understand, like, it was a game, like, really emotional, like, we're not going to say anything about the trophy case, like, it's really fine. We're just emailing to make sure this dude's okay. Like, this dude punched through straight glass and kept walking like it was nothing. And Jake was like, yeah, I'm fine. But like, it was just hilarious that he punched through the glass, and that, like, the Pitt athletic department is just like, yeah, it's fine. Like we understand you guys lost. Like, we beat you guys, by the way. But the trophy case, we're gonna redo it, but just hope your dude's okay. So that's kind of it.
I don't think Pitt, again, like you said, it was their Super Bowl, so not too many trophies in the trophy case.
Yeah, exactly.
They couldn't be too mad because he couldn't have hurt his hand too bad when he punched through, and there was not a lot to hit. There
wasn't much to hit there.
There wasn't much to hit in the trophy case. Those are some great stories. Jake, great guy, great player for the University of tight end. So those are great stories in remembrance of him, to hear that. Before we go, Alex, let people know where they can find you. And if there's anything you want to shout out here on the TPT podcast to let anyone know, go ahead. The platform's yours. Where can people come up, see you on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and anywhere else you want to shout out?
Yeah, my Instagram, Twitters are just at Alec Holler. No spaces, just Alec Holler. And just in terms of shouting out people, I mean, shout out my family. I mean, I do everything just to honor them, God as well, just doing everything to honor and glorify him. Thank you. Shouting out Jaden for this like amazing podcast. I've been watching back some clips, and I mean, you're doing a phenomenal job. And then the last person I want to shout out is my fiance. We're getting married in single digit days now. So it's really coming up, and she's been an absolute trooper like throughout this whole wedding process, doing a lot of work, a lot of long nights, just getting in there, doing guest lists, doing all the different stuff for a wedding, because we did not realize how much work goes into a wedding until you're in it, man. So
Yeah.
big shout out to her. I love her. Can't wait to make her my wife. So that's my last shout out I got.
Man, that's awesome. Alec, again, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We'll definitely have to have you on again, closer to maybe the draft season, even next year, but closer, of course, to the season to see where UCF's at. Of course, we'll be cheering you on, except if you play my Sooners, man. I can't lie. I'm going to be there. If you guys play the Sooners, I got to cheer for my Sooners, man.
And I'm not going to say, but I think that there could be a big chance that we play the Sooners next year.
All right. Hopefully it is at UCF. So it can be in the bounce house. Great atmosphere. If you guys are in the
bounce house, if it's in the bounce house, if we play them next year, if it's in the bounce house, I'll hook you up with some tickets. But you gotta hold though.
I'll definitely need some because love my Sooners. And if you guys are in the Central Florida and you're not going to go watch Alec play UCF Knights, there's a problem. You just don't like football. I don't care if you're a Florida fan, Florida State fan. You're not going to go watch the Knights next season. I'm an Oklahoma fan. I'm at almost every single game, rocking it with the bounce house. If you guys aren't there next season, it's a problem. So make sure you guys go the UCF Knights this upcoming season.
Yeah, man. I mean, anytime you want me on this podcast, bro, I'll hop on, man. It's awesome.
All right.
An awesome time.
I definitely will hit you up again. Thank you again so much, Alec. We will see you guys next time on the TPT podcast. Thank you again, Alex, for joining. We are out.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media, and check out our videos each week.